It's mailbag time here on Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us as we get your reaction to the performance that we saw from the Seahawks on Thursday night, where Seattle did not play well at all in that loss. Where does this team go from here with this 6-5 record, the 2-game losing streak? We'll dissect it all and see what the 12s had to say after that performance. Let's start with Cookie, who says, is this loss against the Niners all Geno's fault? No, it's not, Cookie. Cookie, no one is blameless for the way the Seahawks played on Thursday night. Geno didn't play good. The defense didn't play well. Special teams didn't play well. Coaching did a bad job. Everybody faltered. This is one of those games where you're not looking in the locker room at one individual and saying, that guy's the reason why we lost. You're looking around, you're saying everybody could have played better. Everybody could have done a better job than what we just witnessed from that Seahawks team. So while Geno didn't play great, he's not the only problem with this Seahawks team. Bigger than Geno, if that makes sense. Geno Schurter writes, is Geno good enough to get the job done for the Seattle Seahawks? I think you know that answer, and I think we all know that answer. Geno kind of just is what he is at this point. He's not going to be the difference to win you those games that put you over the top. I mean, he's been a career backup most of his time in the NFL. He's had some flashes here and there. He's had some great moments. Last year was a special season. But if we're going to be real, this is kind of the end of the road of sorts. I mean, for Geno Smith at this point. We're all gearing up for the Seahawks to bring in a new quarterback next year, to draft a quarterback, to find the next face of the franchise, and Geno ain't it. I mean, you hold on to him throughout the rest of this year, and you try to ride the ship and see if you can turn it into a playoff appearance or something, but that's kind of just it right now. And you know what? I'm grateful for Geno. What he did last year was a special story, a great run, but that's just kind of it. It's kind of the end of the road at this point. Who's to blame for the Seahawks' downfall of what we've experienced the last couple of weeks with where this team has gone compared to where they were even at just a few weeks ago and all the hype and the expectations of what this team was going to do in 2023? Who's the most to blame? Is it Geno? Is it Pete Carroll? Is it somebody else? Weigh in that comment section or pin comment. Let us know what you think it is. The Boskin writes in, the only option in drafting a quarterback is J.J. McCarthy or Bo Nix at the spot we draft unless we keep sucking. Well, the Boskin, I hate to break it to you, but the two options you just presented to me, I would not be very excited about at all. J.J. McCarthy, he hasn't been able to carry that Michigan team. Wasn't even throwing a pass in that entire fourth quarter against Penn State a couple weeks ago. Bo Nix, not an NFL quarterback. I saw the Bo Nix at Auburn. I don't trust him to be the face of my franchise. With that said, the Boskin, this is a very good quarterback class. I mean, you're talking about not just at top with Caleb Williams and Drake May, but then even after that, you're talking about the Michael Penixes, the Riley Leonards of the world. There's a lot of different options there. So although I don't like those two, the Seahawks will have guys they can look at for next year's draft that I think would be better than those two. Trell the photographer. I think I said that right. Who should the next Seahawks quarterback be? Still a ways to go and figure that out. If I were to guess, and let me make this clear, this is a guess, and next week or the week after, sometime soon, I am going to do the much-anticipated Geno Smith replacements video here on the channel, so be on the lookout for that. At the moment, I would say the most likely option for next year is Michael Penix, based on where the Seahawks are likely to be drafting and how the things fall where they may. I think that's probably the most likely scenario, and that's going to make a lot of Seahawk fans happy, a Washington Husky, a local kid and everything, but there's still a lot of time between now and next April. But if I were just to guess, that would be the most likely guess. Who do you want to play quarterback for the Seahawks in 2024? Do you want it to be a young rookie? Do you want it to be Geno or Drew Lock? Do you want it to be a veteran quarterback? Do you want to see the Seahawks go make a move for like a Kirk Cousins or a Kyler Murray or something like that? Get in that comment section. Name who you would like to see as the Seahawks starting quarterback in 2024. Let me know who it is. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Play along now, prizepicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS, and get a $100 deposit match on your first entry. Prize Picks the other night, me and Smitty, our picks, we went with JSN to have more than 5.5 targets, more than 8.5 receiving yards for Jake Bobo, and more than half a yard rushing or receiving for Christian McCaffrey. And I got bad news. We went 1 for 3. We did not win, but you can win with Prize Picks. Play along, prizepicks.com/CLNS, $100 deposit match if you want to play along with us. prizepicks.com/CLNS to play today. Sad, Sherman. I feel for you. Do the Seahawks need to make any additions for the rest of the season? There's not much you can really do. The offensive line, terrible. I think Lyle Collins would be a nice help for this Seahawks team to go out there and sign him. I know that there's some rumblings about like a Colt McCoy potentially. Obviously, you got Shaq out there as well, but, kind of hard to find him a spot necessarily with how the Seahawks running back room shapes up. But to me, Lyle Collins probably makes the most sense of a potential move for Seattle. But we're waiting to see if he's 100% healthy or not. But it's going to be hard to salvage the season just as is, if it's even worth bringing another player potentially. Caleb says, what do you guys think the Seahawks should do here on out? I think you put your best foot forward, try to compete, you go out there, try to win football games, see if you can make something out of nothing. I mean, the way the NFC's shaking out, you get to 9 wins, you still might make the postseason. So that's still, even with this gauntlet that's ahead, there would be 3 more wins for the Seahawks team. It's not impossible. The season's not over, but, man, it feels difficult. You feel like you have hit a wall right now. So keep on putting your best foot forward. Don't need to tank or anything like that. Just keep on trying and see what happens. Jacqueline says, Seahawks overreaction to say we fire both our coordinators and Pete. I got to tell you, I'm not very high on Shane Waldron and Clint Hurt right now, especially Clint Hurt. Clint Hurt makes a lot of just dumb decisions that don't make any sense. Shane Waldron does not game plan well when they play against better competition. I would be surprised if Pete got fired. To me, that would be a shocker if that day were to come. Now, here's one thing. I'll play to your point here, Jacqueline. Here's a question that you would have to ask as far as to what you're saying here. If you're the Seattle Seahawks, let's look to next year. Let's say you have a new quarterback, right? Pete Carroll is in his early 70s and all that. Do you want to start a new era with a new quarterback with Pete Carroll starting the next era for that next quarterback? Or would you rather hit the reset button completely and say, we're going to start with a new quarterback, we're going to start with a new head coach? That could be a question you ask yourself. I see it as unlikely. I don't think that happens. But that's a possibility I think you have to at least consider, at least ask yourself if it's time to move on or not. So, what do you guys think? Do the Seahawks need to move on from Pete Carroll? We heard the rumblings last year that he and John Schneider weren't on the same page anymore. Is it time to go another direction? If you're going to have a new quarterback next year, should you have a new head coach doing so? Type F for fire, K for keep. Be honest with me. What do you think? Is it time to move on from Pete Carroll or not? F for fire, K for keep. For more Seahawks coverage, subscribe now to Seahawks Today for daily news and rumors, watch parties, live shows, Q&A mailbags like you just saw right here, and we'll see you next time right here on Seahawks Today.